I want to talk about the water problem, but I think Mr. Gagne talked about speed limits, and if you don't know what the speed limit is, how fast you can go, I would let Mr. Gagne and anybody else know that if you look at any motor vehicle statute on speeding, there is a reasonableness component to it. Therefore, if you're supposed to go 65, that's certain conditions. If it's rainy and cloudy, you're supposed to go slower. So I think what you're seeing here, what I'm going to argue is what happened last week or 2 weeks ago, 8th and 9th, was not reasonable. None of it's reasonable. So I don't care what the pH levels were. What happened wasn't reasonable. Let me explain. The facts are that on Friday, at least by Friday, town manager and Mr. Carina knew that two people had taken a shower over in Pawcatuck and had been burnt by a corrosive chemical. Now, you can say they weren't injured, but I don't like to take a shower and get burnt. They knew that. Now, you think it's reasonable that he tried to call Mr. Simmons and Mr. Marone, and that's all he had to do. I say that's not reasonable. Okay? Because you having this mutual understanding agreement with Stonington, how about Westerly residents? What did you do for them? Did you tell them that maybe they don't want to drink a chemical? Now, nobody mentioned tonight what the chemical is. It's potassium hydroxide. That's what you put in the water. According to the Center for Disease Controls, this is a dangerous substance. Okay? The skin, corrosive, redness, pain, blisters, serious skin burns. If you inhale it, burning sensation. I'm going from light to strong. We don't know. Sore throat, cough, labored breathing, shortness of breath. Symptoms may be delayed. See notes. Eyes, corrosiveness. Again, redness, pain, blurred vision, severe deep burns. This is what you're putting into the water. So if it gets out of balance, this can kill somebody. Ingestion, abdominal pain, burning sensation, shock, or collapse. And you think you're just going to call somebody and not set out some kind of alert so that I can make an informed consent if I want to drink deeply from this water? That's what you did. It's callous. Absolutely callous. Now, so, knowing this and knowing that somebody's burnt, Derrik Kennedy and Mr. Carina put out an email on Saturday morning. The email does not, and it's addressed to Dale Faulkner, and it's CC to all the town council, Rob Simmons, and some other people. Incident with the water system. Does not mention the fact that somebody had been burned Friday night. Why not? Why was that withheld? Now, there's another email here, I can't figure it out. It goes to the town council. It says about 1 o'clock at night. And it says, this is not an emergency situation that you all got. So it might not be an emergency situation, but I think it's the residents' call to make, whether they want to take a shower, whether they want to drink this water, whether they want to put it in their eyes. Because it has too much potassium hydroxide in it, which, as I explained to you, is a dangerous substance. But this one went out, and Derrik Kennedy said it was found today by a person in Pawcatuck who noticed their water was slippery, noticed a slight burning sensation. They called the fire department, who responded in droves, as I'm being told, as well as our water department. The person was not hurt in any way. Really. I think that Derrik should have taken a shower in that water. Now, you're all saying that you're making a big deal with Rob Simmons. You've pacified Rob Simmons. Okay? Here's what Rob Simmons says in an email on Monday to Ryan McCarran and to Derrik Kennedy. I was trying to convey my sense that if Westerly Water knew of the issue Thursday, and I knew the Thursday or Friday during the working day, I could have activated LLHD, that's the lead ledge, and issued some sort of notice, either using our Everbridge system, and some spelling mistakes, or social meeting. I'll make this clear. So, if Rob Simmons had known about this on Friday, he would have activated the system and warned everybody. But the fact of the matter is, Derrik Kennedy knew about it, and Kareem did it, and they wouldn't have done that. What's the difference? Why would Rob Simmons do that in our town, do it for our citizens? Are you so dismissive of the people in this town that you wouldn't notify them, but Rob Simmons would? That's what he says. Now, you're all saying great things about Mr. Kareem. Let me read an email from Mr. Kareem to Derrik Kennedy. Derrik, I replied to Ryan, and I believe Ryan at Ledge Light, to put him off. I don't think we should call the health department and look for trouble. Let me read that again. Derrik, I replied to Ryan to put him off. I don't think we should call the health department and look for trouble. That's Westerly. Should be embarrassed. Now, this is a woman who did write to the town, and I'm not going to mention her name, but her fish died. If anybody's had fish, you know if the pH is off, they die. All of her fish died. She says, you know, try looking at my autistic child and saw all his fish died in his tank. So, it's just fish that died, but there could have been a worse case scenario here. And you're overlooking that fact. And you're high-fiving each other. You did such a great job. You're lucky somebody didn't get hurt. Now, when you did finally, this is the reasonableness. You're saying, well, there's no guidelines for the Rhode Island Department of Health. But as soon as you notified them on the 13th, they sent you an email. As you're aware, the Westerly Water Department had a treatment equipment failure on Thursday and Friday of last week that caused excess chemicals to enter the water supply. They're not talking about pH levels. You have corrosive chemicals in your water system and the potential to burn somebody. Or worse. We are concerned that excess chemicals would still be in homes. So they forced the town of Westerly to issue this. But who wouldn't do that? What person in this town, and I'd like to know, which immoral person that knew that there was a chemical in that water that man had right next to me, wouldn't say to him, hey, you might not want to drink that water. Might not harm you, but that's potassium hydroxide in there. And it's an excessive amount. Who wouldn't? Which immoral person wouldn't tell everybody? It's immoral. Again, Rob Simmons to Derrik Kennedy. My intention is not to hurt anyone, just fix the issue of communication. We're part of the Ledge Light Health District, which is highly professional help in these matters. And our police department has the capacity to put the information out to the community street by street. We also have an IT department that uses Facebook and the Stonington Communities Forum to disseminate information. But of course, we cannot use these resources without timely and effective communication. It's hard to do sometimes because of the two-state, two-town issue, but the bottom line is one community. Right, your neighbor. You're not going to tell your neighbor there's a corrosive chemical in the water. Maybe. You might want to drink it. You didn't do that. And you didn't do any of the things that Rob Simmons would have done and the town of Stonington had they known what Derrik Kennedy and Paul Carina knew. I cannot imagine there's a person in this town that wouldn't have rang the bell if they had known that. Rob Simmons certainly would have, and he has a right to be upset. And why is Derrik Kennedy even calling Rob Simmons? They have the Ledge Light Health District, and this is who your new memorandum's going to be with. It's Ledge Light. Or the police department. Somebody said it was a hiccup or an error on the Stonington side. It wasn't an error on the Stonington side. The bells and whistles should have gone off. Should be ashamed of yourselves. And here's all the articles that came out. This was written up much more critical in the New London Day, of course. They wrote the article, Westerly Director of Public Works Paul Carina and Town Manager Derrik Kennedy did not respond to an email Sunday asking questions about the incidents. So he didn't answer, he wouldn't even answer questions to the newspapers. Again, their article, this is the New London Day, again, note that Derrik Kennedy and Paul Carina would not answer questions. Why? Who wouldn't answer questions? When you're hiding under a rock, you know why. And then, same with Dale Faulkner's article. Kennedy did not return a message seeking comment for this article. Great job. Didn't even let the residents of Westerly know until Tuesday. And again, Simmons in the article, most recent article, where again, this is Miss Hewitt wrote the article for the Sun. Kennedy did not respond to requests for comment about the memorandum and the events that led up to it. And in that one, again, Simmons was criticizing Kennedy and Carina for not using the police department's emergency alert system to warn residents of the problem in a timely fashion. Why not? This is a corrosive, harmful chemical. And that's the best you can do for the people of Westerly, and you're more concerned about telling Rob Simmons, he told you what he was doing. What did you do for the town of Westerly's residents? What did you do? You didn't tell them anything for days. You don't know what somebody's drank. Again, you can call it pH all you want, but this is a chemical. It's on the CDC website, says in capital letters, avoid all contact. I think you should have some soul searching. This isn't about moving forward. This is about how this even happened in the first place. Why I think it's immoral that you would allow people to drink water that might have this chemical in it, too much of this chemical in it. That's what I have to say. Thank you.